Welcome to another episode of It's Debatable NFL Edition. I'm your host, Justin Jones, here with co-host Sebastian. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone, even though it was yesterday, but hope everyone spent that good time with their family, ate that good food, and just enjoyed their day. Today it's still Black Friday. Had a football game today that just literally finished up. We had the Eagles going up against the Chicago Bears, to where the Chicago Bears relatively put belt to ass, especially towards going into that fourth quarter to where they really opened up the game. Let's just start right there, and let me just say how I feel about everything. I feel the Eagles aren't playoff ready, right? I feel like in the beginning of the season is when you figuring things out, who to give the ball to, who's hot, who's not, what plays you like to run, what type of defensive schemes you want to have, and you really try things, right? I don't feel you should be going into week what is this, week 13 or something like that? For what is it?
Yeah, week 13.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, that I guess, but going into week 13, and yet the team just don't look right. I still don't understand how Saquon Barkley has one of the greatest seasons by a running back last season, and then we go into this season and he's a shell of himself. It doesn't make any fucking sense. AJ Brown doesn't look good. Devontae Smith don't look good. Jalen Hurts is just way too laid back. Jalen Hurts just reminds me of Jordan Love. Every time they do something good, it's the same monotone look. They do something bad, it's the same look. I just don't see the fire, man. I'm disgusted right now with the Eagles. Gilly the King, I already know you're disgusted. All the fans are disgusted. I heard them booing in the first half because we not going for this shit no more, bro. The team looks sloppy, dusty, and disgusting. We need to get this together. Um, in terms of the Chicago Bears, right? We spoke about them previously, and I feel like this is a team that started off trying to figure things out. They had like a basically a 500 record for the first half of the season, going into now really the second half of the season, and they've looked 100 times better. Their offense looks fluid. Caleb Williams just knows who he wants to give the ball to at what times. The run game looks good. The defense looks competent enough. I feel the Chicago Bears are catching fire on all cylinders at the right time, and I think that the Bears just look overall better than the Eagles right now. They both came into the game with 8-3 records, and now we're at a spot where the Bears are 9-3. The Eagles are 8-4, but that 8-4 record by the Eagles really could be 4-8 in my opinion. And if it was, I wouldn't be shocked because a lot of their wins haven't been dominant. They've been kind of getting by beating up the bad teams and struggling against the good teams. We just seen what the Cowboys did to them just the other week. Well, not the other week, just over the weekend. So I feel like the Eagles got to get it together, and the Chicago Bears are right where they want to be. Now I don't know where the hell Seb went, everybody. Um, so we got to get Seb back. Let's figure it out. Y'all, we gotta go find Seb. I don't know what just happened to him. We will be back.
Yeah, my phone. I don't know. My connection just restarted.
All right, well, we getting right back to where we was at. Basically, my overall synopsis. I feel like the Eagles are getting they're just looking worse to me by every single week. The offense don't look good. The defense looks mediocre. And on the other side with the Bears, it's just a complete opposite. They started off the season basically a 500 team, and as now we enter the second half of the season, they just look a lot better. Winning leads to more comfortability for the QBs. I feel like Caleb Williams when once again, they was at 500 and they was beating one team, beating a team one week, losing the next week. He wasn't gaining no confidence, and that just showed in his play. And I feel like everyone could see it, the fans, the teammates, the coaching staff. Now, over like the last 4 to 5 weeks, he's like a lot more comfortable. He's finding his receivers with ease when it comes down to these third down conversions, right? When they have to get that first down, they're running the right plays. I want to shout out the offensive coordinator. From what I've seen today, he just did a masterful job. He went for it when he had to go for it. He put, all those receivers just in the right position. Shout out to Swift, a former Philadelphia Eagle, who, the running game with him looked very, very good. The Chicago Bears, I think right now they're sitting at 9-3, and I think as we get closer to the playoffs, that's a team that's gonna have to be reckoned with. This was a team that once they see and they had their QB Caleb Williams, and that was their future guy. Like I said, we said on this program before, they put all the necessary pieces around him to succeed. Now it just didn't look good last season, but it looks good this season. Everything is paying off, and right now the Bears are just a better team than the Eagles. The Eagles, I feel, lost their identity. I don't know what they try to bank their games on. How do they try to win games? I don't see it. Today was a bad loss. They just lost two straight to where they gave up a 21-point lead just just over the weekend. I don't really know what the Eagles do here. We're getting to a point to where teams where every game matters and you keep dropping them, you're gonna find yourself in the playoff hunt and not securing a spot. Um, how do you feel about everything?
Um, Looking back at this game, I just really take away more so that the Eagles they're having an identity crisis mid-season. I think where it really stems from is just getting AJ Brown the ball, and I'm not gonna say maybe that's the reason why, but then again, have we noticed that when the less touches AJ Brown was receiving, the more games they were winning? Like, is that sort of a coincidence? Because AJ Brown ramped up his touch even since last week. I believe what was it against the no, maybe the game before that. I think it was against the Lions, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it could be against the Lions or it could be against the Cowboys, but either or. As soon as they ramp up his touches, like the game starts, become a little more weird. We're not getting as much tush pushes. Jalen Hurts hasn't looked as effective as he has in like the weeks prior. I'm looking at a guy like Saquon Barkley who's slowing down for whatever the case may be. And you see it offensively, like that run game that was once so lethal to where you could break through any tackle and get a good amount of momentum hasn't paid off this season. Um, Another thing I noticed is the guys like Devontae Smith, who was primarily a heavy target of Jalen Hurts. I think that he has seen less, like involvement within the offense. Another guy like Dallas Goddard, somebody who was just a crucial piece for them in the first half of the season, somebody that was all reliable for Jalen Hurts hasn't seen enough to I feel like as well. I just think overall, more so, it's just an identity crisis for them though. It's two bad losses. This one especially too. You could tell by the look of it that the Bears came ready. They was ready for this game. They had this game, dotted down on their books. They was ready to rock and roll, and you see that offensively, whether it came from the run game, whether it came from Caleb Williams just getting out that pocket with an urgency, and for the most part though, just a team effort. Cole Komet too. I seen him get in the end zone. I believe that was Cole Komet or Carson Loveland. I forgot which one it was, but either way, Caleb Williams, somebody who you just mentioned, has really stepped up his game thus far. Has looked like an elite quarterback. When I watch his games, it looks very poised at times, very poised. Like it's not like he's gonna get sacked. It's rare that I seen him get sacked this game, or even in the past couple games this season too. So that's something that plays in the counter in this particular game too, because at the end of the day, you let Caleb Williams show you out. He showed out Jalen Hurts. It was nothing Jalen Hurts was able to do. I think he took 2 picks, but it's like you said, two sides of different stratosphere. One team is rolling, the other team is just digressing at the wrong time, though. But for the Eagles, they just got to figure out what works best for them too. If it involves, maybe AJ Brown receiving less touches, and they somehow, ramp up just everybody else, that might have to be the formula. But you could tell that the formula has definitely changed within the Eagles' offense.
Yeah, I just think, when it comes with the Bears and just when it comes to sports in general, when you're playing at the highest level, you can have all the skill in the world, right? But you have to have confidence, right? We talk about the Ben Simmons situation in the NBA, right? Still formidable in terms of age and archetype, right? But the confidence is not there. So no matter what role you put him in, he's just not going to be able to execute, right? You talk about Caleb Williams, who came into the NFL with high expectations. That's already gonna be that devil on your shoulder to where a lot of times, especially as a rookie, you're trying not to mess up on the contrary to trying to actually win the game. So I think he came into his first season just trying to prove that he belongs, and that was easier said than done. They didn't have a great season. Even if you put the right pieces around him, he's not going to be able to maximize any of the potential because he doesn't even feel like he can just succeed just in the Premier League, right? Now you go into your second season, you have a lot of the same weapons, you have the same coach, and you know exactly what you're capable of. I don't know if you've seen the clip, and I think this from I don't even know it's from this season or maybe last season, but it was when CJ Stroud, right? They did the Texans just beat the Bears, and CJ Stroud just spoke to him after the game and said, "You have all the capabilities inside you. Once you figure this out, you're gonna be one of the better QBs in the NFL." Look at it now, right? You just said he looks poised and he does look like one of the top quarterbacks. He definitely does. And that's because he has that confidence within himself, and the coaching staff installed also that confidence in him. So now he has the size, right? He's one of the, I feel, taller QBs just in the NFL. He's young, he's mobile. We talk about a lot of these other dudes, right? The Lamar Jacksons of the world, the Josh Allens. What can they do if that on any given day Caleb Williams can't do?
True. Kid has it all. It's just applying it now and just perfecting the craft. I think that's one of the major parts of this of year 2, Caleb Williams, that we've seen thus far. A lot of judgment last year about whether or not he was a run or dual threat quarterback, though. I think he sort of put that to rest, though. And I think just for him now, it's just keep adding on to this game, just knowing when to make timely reads. And they spoke about it too on the broadcast. Shout out to the broadcast team. They spoke about it too. They said he has all the utilities, though. He's able to find reads. It's just about perfecting and making the right type of pass to somebody that's right there. And I see it though. I see this is still some growing pains. He still gets visibly frustrated when he makes a wrong read or when if he doesn't get a good dot though. But that's you could tell that's somebody that's gradually getting better. And even throughout the season, he's gotten better.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So shout out to the
definitely,
Bears. My fault, bro. Go ahead.
now I'm saying definitely a learning curve though, but at least you're not into the process of the learning curve though.
Right. So shout out to the Bears. They're at 9-3 now. The Eagles are at 8-4. But like I said, when you left, that 8-4 really feels like a 4-8 with me with the Eagles. I don't feel their record represents the actual team that they are right now. But we're going to talk more about them as once again we get closer and closer to the playoffs. Let's turn the clock back now to yesterday, Thanksgiving Day. And let's start actually from the end of the night, right? We had the return of Joe Burrow going up against the Baltimore Ravens. A game to where on all betting right sites the Ravens was favored. Why do you feel the Bengals ended up winning that matchup?
I feel as if the Bengals end up winning that matchup because I think they just had all the momentum in the world. You get your star quarterback back and Joe Burrow. You feel the offense change. You felt it felt different. Watching the game though, they played with poise. Jamar Chase knew he was going to get the ball a ton of a lot, especially against a Ravens team to where he always shows out his best in the season. I think that plays into account. Everybody else stepped up, as well as the Chase Browns of the world, who has been playing relatively better for a good part of the season now. I think he's slow. I think he got off to a slow start in the beginning of the season. Now, really just comfortable in his role, whether it's catching a little short route for a quick run or just breaking through a couple tackles to get a gain of like maybe 5 to 10 yards, maybe 15 if he's feeling good. I think that's also been a pivotal part of their offense too as well. That I'm looking at other guys like Yoshi Vash, I don't remember his first name, somebody who could be a solid wide receiver too. Has ramped up his touches too and taking advantage of the moment as well. I'm looking at all that come to an effect, and just overall, just the idea of having Joe Burrow back, it's exciting. On Thanksgiving, yeah, that's the best thing you could ask for. I don't know if it's gonna. I don't think it's gonna lead to a playoff run. I don't know if they make any. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if they're eliminated yet, or they have a chance, or the slightest bit of
No,
chance.
I believe they're still in the hunt now. That would have to be the football gods really blessing them. But if you look at their conference, you got right the what team am I talking about? The Browns, they're at 3-8, right? So they're just a game behind. And then you got now the Ravens who are at 6-6, and the Chiefs who are at 6-6 also. All those teams are just trying to fight for a spot right now. All right.
4-8. Yeah, 4-8. They would have to go on a good run because the Ravens just dropped and the Steelers are first in the conference. Yeah, it's looking like a tight race.
Well, I know their next 5 games. I think they got the Bills and Ravens. They play the Ravens again, and then the Bills. Those are gonna be two tough matchups. But then the three after that are winnable games. So
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, it should be out of play. But back to last night's game, though, just really, really, just the idea of having Joe Burrow back definitely got this team going because you felt it from the offense from the start to finish. Though, now on the Ravens side of things, quite frankly, I've been kind of disappointed with Lamar Jackson. Past couple games. I think what past 2 games is not the Lamar Jackson I'm used to seeing. Um, though he did suffer from injury at the beginning of the season, but I don't think that's an excuse when you're out there. You got to make works. Somehow, some way, they find themselves winning these games though, but it hasn't been in the manner that you wanted to. I think it's been nail biters with these games, against the Browns and against the Jets. I believe they played last week. So they haven't played good offensively. I think Derrick Henry has looked a little bit better as the season has went along, learning from his mistakes too as well. They even said it last night too. It's a different way that he carries the ball though. Before he carried it a little lower in the beginning of week one. They showed the picture of week one. Now that motherfucker carry that shit right here,
you
secure
carrying
now.
them like a newborn baby, huh?
Yeah, man, can't drop it, can't fumble the bag, brother. Can't fumble the bag though. But other than that, though, I haven't seen nothing out of nobody else though. When I look at guys like Zay Flowers, who's supposed to be wide receiver one, I haven't seen nothing like flashy thus far. Guys like Lamar's used to going to the Rashard Batemans of the world, Isaiah Likely's, Mark Andrews. They were a no show. They were literally a no show, and I just think that for the Ravens, we said it. You're in a position now where you can't necessarily make any. There's no room for error. I know you somehow managed to get back in the first seed in that same conference that involves the Bengals too. But then dropping this game, you could have had a little bit leverage. You could have finished at least 7-5, and now it puts the Steelers on more pressure on the Steelers to win this game against the Bills. You had the opportunity to put yourself a little bit further ahead and get a little comfort room in your own conference, but you failed to do that too. The offense was a no-show. The defense has been questionable throughout the whole season. So yeah, the Ravens just gotta, take this game for what it was, and you see this team in 2 weeks. So you got to come prepared. So you actually got to really just. And it starts with Lamar Jackson. He needs to be way better. I'm not gonna say a little bit. He needs to be way better. The media critic is always gonna come with it, like no matter if he does good or bad. So yeah, I think it starts with Lamar. If he's not fully healthy, I don't think you should play. Like, don't risk it all when you know that you're not going to be fully capable. Like, don't will yourself into the playoffs and then just hurt yourself when you're there. I think if you need to like rest up, brother, because You making silly passes at points in time. Them legs ain't working the same, man, to get to a good first down. Lamar Jackson was good for at least a good 40 rushing yards. And now I just think that, it might have caught up to him. All that running and just being a dual threat quarterback, your game tends to slow down that way. Though. I'm not making no accusations though, because Lamar Jackson, though, but it looks banged up, brother.
Yeah. Didn't they finish with 9 points total?
No, I do believe so.
It was more than that. How much they have?
14.
It was 14. Okay.
Yeah, I know Derrick Henry scored and check.
My apologies. But I just don't feel that they should have been. Well, point I'm trying to make, they should have been able to score more points going up against that Bengals defense. The Bengals defense is not good. But now here's the kicker: the Ravens defense ain't that fucking much better. So you had two subpar defenses going at it, and it really came down to which offense was going to be able to win the game. And the Bengals just had a better offensive game plan. Joe Burrow, the return. There's two different type of Joes, man. There's Joe Burrow and there's Joe Flacco, right? Two different Joes. You can just tell with the team morale. They're just certain throws that Burrow throws and you see like wow, like the precision that he put on that ball. The receivers wasn't having that with Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco is still good for his age and what he's able to give you, but he can't do some of the things that Joe Burrow can do. You just heard Jamar Chase say himself, I got my friend back, right? My best friend. The type of connection he just have with those receivers was just shown in that last game. I think the Bengals are gonna go on a run. I feel they're gonna ride this wave of momentum. Now, are they gonna make it into the playoffs? I don't know about that. They wasn't able to hold down the fort long enough for him to return and complete that mission. But they got a puncher's chance. That's all you ask for if you're Joe Flacco, right? Just give me a chance, and we're gonna have to see what they do with the weeks moving forward. Let's go now to the game. Before that, we had the Chiefs and the Dallas Cowboys. Um, I'll just say my two things real quick. On the side of the Cowboys, they're on fire right now. But we know as we get closer to the playoffs, that's when they sort of crumble. So I don't want everyone to act like they're now Super Bowl contenders. I don't know if I'm comfortable saying that. Now they beat two formidable teams in their last two matchups, being the Chiefs and the Eagles. If we was to say that at the beginning of the season they was gonna do that, we will probably all say no. But the offense once again just looks good. Dak Prescott was doing his thing. George Pickens, that might have been the best signing of the offseason. Or was he traded? No, he wasn't traded
Traded.
there, was he?
Yeah, traded.
He was traded there.
Yeah.
Best acquisition of the offseason. What he's done, I definitely think he should be wide receiver one. I think CD Lamb still has a lot of talent. And if you want to say he's a better player, I think that's an argument that you can have. But right now, George Pickens is just outplaying him. He made so many crucial catches yesterday to where his impact was so large, he didn't even have to score, right? He just had to be in the right spot at the right time because he dug them out of so many holes that they was potentially about to put themselves in, right? So they just gotta keep feeding off that double dual threat wide receiver options that they do have. 'Cause I do think this should make it easier for CD Lamb, seeing that all the attention is not on him. Shout out to their running back. He was also great yesterday too. Didn't he have like two touchdowns himself?
Javante Williams, I believe so.
No, I know he at least had one, but I could have
Yeah,
sworn.
I know. I remember seeing him score.
But so overall, their offense looks good, and the defense has done the best they can to win these games. I'm not gonna say it's elite, but it is formidable. So the Cowboys got some type of game plan right now. They're cooking up something up over there in Jerry's world, and over the last three games, it has worked. So shout out to them. The Chiefs just all you can say is now they officially have no room for error. You've seen Patrick Mahomes say it after the game. We have to win every single game. Right? And I don't know if they're going to be able to do that. But I'll say this to you. I'm not gonna bet against them because if there's any quarterback right now in the NFL that can pull this off, it's Patrick Mahomes. So I'm still not counting them out. But they have a they have a tall task in front of them.
I think the luck might have ran out. Not gonna lie. This is three crucial games too.
Well, I know what they got the Chargers coming up, right? I think they got
We got
do
the
they got-
Texans, Chargers, Titans, and Broncos.
so over those 4 games, what do you think their record will be?
I can't even tell you that though, but I'm not. I'm looking at it as it's gonna be close. All these games have been so far close.
All right, but hold on. So do you think they beat the Texans?
The way the Texans are rolling, the Texans might upset them.
We want to answer right now, bro. Not you playing the fucking fence, bro. Are they gonna beat the Texans? Yes or no?
I don't think so. No,
All right. So who's after that?
Chargers.
Do you think they beat the Chargers?
Man, we beat them niggas again.
Oh, now he wants to make up the Chargers. All right. So
But they beat the Titans. Okay, yeah, they're gonna beat the Titans.
they beat the Titans and then the Broncos game. What do you think about that?
That's a toss up because their game was relatively close too.
We need answers, buddy.
They might be the Broncos,
So
and then
you
they have
so
the
so you're saying they go 2-2 over the next 4 games?
yes, and then their last game is against the Raiders.
I'll bet you $5 they go 4-0 over the next 4 games.
Fuck it,
All right. You
4 and
feel me?
0.
4-0.
Do they got the team to do that anymore?
They got the quarterback.
Might not be enough anymore, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
Superman is in the building.
Superman found some kryptonite this season, bro. I'm not
Because,
gonna
because
lie.
would you pick another quarterback over him to pull this off? Is there any other quarterback you would take or trust more than him to pull something like this off?
No, because he has the resume for it though. But in my opinion, though, it's just I think sometimes you dig yourself in a hole to where you know these games have been close, and they said it. True, the amount of football I watched last night, and the shout out to the commentators for this, really putting niggas onto game, bro. Because you know what I mean. If you really want to know a lot about just this team, this was a team last year that literally finished 5-0 in close games in the 2 minute warnings, bro.
You know,
Like
they was 11-0 in games with only one possession.
yeah, and this season they're only like 1-5.
Facts.
So that's kind of crazy for a team like that. So that means something is missing.
Everybody got 1 year older. I think that factored
It's
in.
definitely missing.
I don't know. But once again, I will not bet against Patrick Mahomes. I will not say that. But also, I want to say something about this. Can we stop with these Dak Prescott MVP? Their record is still 500.
With a
Like
tie.
but because I don't get like he's doing this thing. I'm not saying that. Well, now we're just gonna disregard the record because then we can get every 500 team right now, and their quarterback should be in the NFL MVP conversation. Like, are we about to give we're gonna give a sympathy award because they dug themselves out of mediocrity?
Without word. It's because it's America's team.
If that's the case, Aaron Rodgers MVP, Lamar Jackson MVP, Patrick Mahomes MVP.
I don't know. I ain't gonna lie though.
Listen, I'm just saying,
Yeah,
like, well,
Dak
they're five
Prescott been
five and
exciting to
one. Or
watch
no,
though. I'm not
or are
gonna
they
front.
6-5-1 now, or is it 5-5-1?
6-5-1.
Oh Lord, one game over.
Nah, they're just excited to watch, bro. I'm not gonna front. See why they're America's favorite team, bro. Their games is interesting,
I'm
bro.
not part. They're not my favorite team.
No, I'm just saying. Well, most of the people, you know how Stephen A. says it. That's America's team. But no, they're exciting to watch. I'm not gonna lie though. So anything Dak Prescott does is like, oh, did you see what he did? Yeah, nigga. But what about the playoffs? Like, and I think that's what it is. Any regular season game where the Cowboys win, you say, "Oh, them boys are ready this year."
He has a subpar 500 record in the month of January. Let's see what he does then.
It'll be all right. I think it'll be all right. I think these two games for the Cowboys, it was gut check time. They could either have folded or they could have done something. And especially the Eagles one where you're down 21-0, bro. You passed the sticks. And the fact that they hung in there, it was like, it's impressive though. Like, but you gotta see. It can't be fool's gold though. It could be a good run in the season. Vice versa. Teams dealing with internal warfare, especially the Eagles, man. Like we said earlier in the show, still not knowing their identity or having an identity crisis.
And the Philadelphia Eagles are now the Pottsville Pigeons. All right, shout out to my boy Cassidy. I ain't calling them the Eagles no more. Pottsville Pigeons.
Ain't that fucking Easy's hood?
Yeah, Pottsville. Easy not from Philly. You didn't know that?
Nah, nah, nah. It's cap, bro.
He from Pottsville.
I don't even know what the fuck a Pottsville is.
It's like it's like a 30-minute drive from Philly, nigga.
Oh, so you did not from Philly, bro.
Nigga, he's from Pottsville. He went to Pottsville Elementary, nigga.
Pottsville High.
Easy versus Cassidy going down December 6th. Make sure y'all go watch that. But back to the games. We still had one more game to talk about. And that was the first game of NFL Thanksgiving Day. The Green Bay Packers and the Detroit Lions. I feel like everything was favored for the Lions. So when you look at their previous records on Thanksgiving Day going up against the Packers, every statistical thing you could look at, it says put your money on the Detroit Lions, and they fucking sold. Now I'll say this: my takeaway from the game. Congratulations to the Green Bay Packers for showing some type of pulse on the offensive end, because I felt like over the past couple of weeks, their offense just looks so nasty. Jordan Love just not being able to connect with his receivers. Josh Jacobs slowing down over the last 2 to 3 weeks. I just wasn't sure what was their identity on the offensive end. They went into this game and it was a shootout. It was a shootout for the most part. Once the game really got started, it was hard to stop. Teams were just going back and forth. You get a touchdown. You get a touchdown. You get a touchdown. I feel this was a game that can unlock Jordan Love to what we seen last season. Hopefully, he can build off of this because they're gonna need these type of performances if and when they get into the playoffs to actually do something. It can't be just depend on that defense and you trying to win the game with 9 points. That's not gonna work. So kudos to the Green Bay Packers. When it comes to the Lions, I don't know. Like I said this before. I don't think their defense is that good. I think and I'm not sure what's about to happen with Saint Brown. You know, he left the game and fucked up everybody's tickets. But I'm just not sure like what they do. And I like Dan Campbell as a coach. I do. I love his fiery passion for the game. But there's just a lot of times where he gambles and it comes back to bite them in the ass. The Lions, man, they got a lot of good offensive weapons, but when it doesn't come to fruition, they look like a joke at times. The Packers was able to shut them out, and one team left eating that turkey, and one team left eating the crow. Seb, Jesus Lord, y'all, this guy Seb just be leaving me up here, y'all.
My fault. I had to go real quick. I'm here.
What you gonna let us know you left, niggas? Turn off your camera? What the fuck?
I pretty much heard most of your take. In regards to the Lions, that's what I was going to actually start off with first, though. I've been very disappointed in this team this year. I think they've lost the games that they should have won. Looking back at their schedule for the Detroit Lions, having its debatables with the fucking Giants. Bad loss to the Chiefs. What else am I looking at here? Lost to the Vikings. Lost to the Eagles in a shit game too. I'm looking at these losses like, yo, what's up, man? Is this the same team that last year was just rolling through teams that was hot like the sun? What's going on? This was the team that everybody looked like a star in their role. Oh, Jameer Gibbs, he's the X factor. He's been the X factor. Like Jameer Gibbs or nothing offense. That's what I'm jacking. Who else? I'm thinking of David Montgomery, somebody who slowed down last year, was really a running back too that could go anywhere and be a running back one. You got the duo of St. Brown and Jamison Williams, and it slowed down too. Sam Laporta has slowed down, and just the engine of the team, the quarterback Jared Goff. Jared Goff has not looked good. I don't know if it's not the O line holding up or just him not making the right reads out of the pocket. I feel like his production compared to last year is just night and day. And I don't know if it's an offensive coordinator. I don't know what the case may be, but I don't know. This is not the same Lions team I see that could really explode for damn near 50 points, 60 points in a game, though. It's looked stagnant this far. I don't know what to make of it, but this was a game that you needed to win. And not need as in like filming for record wise, morality wise, because it's the same team that beat you game one of the season, opening day, NFL opening Sunday, and they beat you. They beat you to the ground. And this is a game where you're supposed to come back out and said, "Nah, we didn't forget about that. We need that. We need that game back." This is a team now that got a mental edge over you now, and I feel like beating a team twice. And the NFL season is short. Like feel me, compared to an NBA season, you only get to see a team maybe in your conference or something like that. Maybe one, maybe twice if you're lucky. You
Right.
got to win those games. Yeah, that's without a doubt. You got to win those games. And in this case scenario, you didn't handle business. And in this case scenario, I don't know what's going on with the Lions. Their record is just it's not who I thought they was. I thought they would have a way better record. And just dating back to last season, just the run that they was on, they were supposed to maximize that and get back to where they needed to be. But
Right.
on the other side of things, those the Packers, like you said, showed up to play. That's a team that finally showed up to play. And then this is this thing where we have with Jordan Love. One game he looks like a superstar. Next game he looks relatively pedestrian, like a fucking how do I put it? I'll put it like a casual quarterback, a system quarterback. But there's games where Jordan Love is just like, yo, we made the right move getting this as our franchise quarterback. I don't know if it's a mental thing or if we could just blame it on just, just life. Like, feel me? Some days you got it, some days you don't go. But I just feel like there's a certain consistency with Jordan Love that we've been lacking. This is somebody in the beginning of the season that started off hot and said, yo, he can get MVP nods, though. But as the weeks went by and then these wins and losses become a little bit more subpar, when I started looking, I'm just like, yeah, maybe he's not an MVP caliber guy. Maybe he's enough to get it done in a postseason though. But there's still questions about that though. But an MVP guy is a guy that could take over at any given point. And I feel like there's a bunch of times where Jordan Love has been relatively pedestrian when they need him to be Superman and plus your do-it-yourself kits. But in this game, they had it rolling. I think it's because they already got a win on the lines, so they sort of comfortable and just sticking to their offense and more so just added on to it. And they even though Josh Jacobs wasn't fully, you know what I'm saying, he still came out and contributed though. That's somebody that just caught an injury like 2 weeks ago. You got guys like Romeo Dobb involved. Christian Watson is back. And at any given point in time, I believe that Jaden Reed is supposed to be back too. Somebody that suffered, I believe, a shoulder injury in the first 2 weeks of the season, though. The only thing that was missing was really just Tucker Craft. If Tucker Craft was here, then this would be a team that I would look at as a little bit scarier. Because now you're just adding back all your pieces, though. You're just missing the tight end. And that's supposed to be a point of just really forcing it to the tight end because they run like a 3 tight end system now. Luke Marsgrove was supposed to be that guy for them, but that it didn't pan out. But other than that, though, with even all that, they just found a way to win. The defense showed up once again. I feel like this Green Bay defense might have been overrated to begin the season. No, yeah, I think we might have put it on too much on a pedestal because there's points in time where they were dead pedestrian. But in this case in time, though, they got to where they needed to be. Micah Parsons looked good out there, though. You're gonna definitely need him to come postseason time to do the Superman stuff that he does too as well on the defensive end. And yeah, but good win for them too. Just a morale booster. Really get your team going. It's getting late in the season. You need every win possible that you can to really get yourself going and just you know what I'm saying, boost your confidence.
Yeah, I agree with all your points. That was really the rundown over this last little Thanksgiving break that we just had with those Thanksgiving games and the Black Friday game. Now I was gonna ask what was the most anticipated matchup of Sunday, but I just kind of looked at it. Those games is nasty this weekend. Like the only decent matchup is the Bills and the Steelers. All these other matchups is not much watch games. I just scrolled past and I seen the Saints versus the Dolphins and I got off that. Like I just can't do it. So that's gonna do it for this episode of It's Debatable NFL edition. Thank you for watching. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe on the video. Follow me at Justin Jones on Facebook for details and developments on the platform. Don't love your job. Job your love. We
Who
out,
the
bro.
fuck said that? Wait, no, 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 we're not out. I'm not ending this. Who the fuck said that?
Nah, you never seen that video?
Who the fuck was that? That lady?
It was on some podcast, and I don't even know what they was talking about. But she said, "What people gotta start doing is don't love your job, job your love."
I think people really be onto something when they say, and you put a mic in front of somebody, they just be saying anything. Cause that's some shit that feel me. That's some dumb shit I'd say.
Bro, I think someone in the comments said, "So don't drive your car, car your drive."
So don't drink alcohol. Alcohol your drink. Like what the fuck?
Oh no, that's fire. No, don't drink alcohol. Alcohol you drink. Like, listen,
Come on, man.
listen, man. But Jersey.